All right, Daniel. How would you sum up, your tour down in the Caribbean?
I'll sum it up to as well. It's a beginning of something that's big gonna happen, and these tournaments will show how I progress, not just in tennis but also as a person.
You played at a number of venues. How was the transition going from venue to venue?
Well, I had to get there a day forward to climatize. I need to find out where I'm gonna stay, when I'm going to eat, and where I'm gonna play at the facilities.
Right, and all that on top of having to play. What was it like out there on the court?
Well, I did have some nerves, but you just gotta play your game and don't let the other guy intimidate you.
Were the results, because obviously you pretty much dominated, were the results a fair reflection of the matches?
Well, I will say most of the results what I got was of me either focusing or underestimating my opponent. That's how I feel.
Now, obviously, you've been involved at the Rafa Nadal Academy, so with that comes a lot of expectations.
Yeah.
How are you coping with that?
I'm coping as the academy is the main station, and I'll have to be traveling around tournaments, but realizing that I'm going to have to come back at the end of the day to the academy to train and get better.
Now, obviously, you're building towards a bigger goal, hoping to play at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
How are you in that journey?
Well, I need
Everything
to.
still on track?
Well, I need to play club, county, then at nationals. I feel that I have club attention down there, which will get me to intimidate my opponents. And at county, I feel that I have progressed there, as not friends but also coaches tell me that I have a good chance. And at nationals, that we'll see how I get there.
So you're pleased with your development, your progress?
I'm pleased with how I've grown. I've grown really fast, not just in tennis, also in other things.
Stuff, and obviously, there's a whole support team around you. You're not just alone,
No.
in this endeavor. Who are some of those who are supporting you along the way?
Well, you have Chris Mabry, Jim Kahn, all the community of Bermuda, and you also have all the little people, which make a lot for me being in the tennis academy in Spain.
And what's it like having, Sam in your corner? Because obviously he's been around the game quite a while.
No, it feels like I have a better chance at my competition having him right beside me. So yeah.
Stuff. Anything you like to add?
Thank you for anyone who has supported me, and I want to say that not just me, but also the people who are friends and are taking sometimes not what I give good energy and giving back to them.
Actually, I just thought of another question. What's next for you?
Next is the road to Wimbledon, conquering that, probably down in South America and then Europe.
Okay, can you elaborate a bit more on that?
Well, in tennis Europe will be the final stage of how much I've progressed, but road to Wimbledon will be the game changer, showing if will get sponsors or investors of high top.
You're pretty confident
Yeah.
back in your ability.
You need to be. If you're not confident, it could let you down.
Just could you give us an assessment, of young Dan, his development?
Sure. Well, it's all about his development, and not so much the results as it is. The results are good, but in the end, we're not working on reaching professional tennis. And in doing so, he's now 13 years old. He's on course for us to begin his 15, probably 16-year-old professional tennis in the challenges. So there are step-by-step processes that we go through in order to reach those levels. When he was 10 years old, is the international Little Mo and also the international Smurfit Bowl that he played in historically, and he did very well in those areas. On the international scene in New York, United States, in England, in Croatia, and then Spain. We were heading toward Spain, no different from footballers heading toward Brazil as the foundation of really improving your game. And we really were blessed to land Rafa Nadal Academy right at the point when they had started. So they actually look at Daniel as a role model now because he's been there for 2 years. So he's like, one of the older kids coming up this year. and they have him modeling in the kids' clothing section of the Nadal line. He's been selected for good behavior to travel to Barcelona with Nadal when he won the tournament in Barcelona. And then, of course, the tour. Well, Daniel being Bermudian, at the age of 11, he was the number 1 seed in the under-16s. So you can see how him taking on the Caribbean was that next step. We certainly want to thank Chris Mabry and Karim down at Tuckers Point, Rosewood. We have Paul Telford here as well, who gave us the necessary financial support to make sure that this dream path that Daniel's on to become a professional player is on course. So we definitely are happy to have supporters like Chris and Paul, who have supported Daniel all the way from when he got a scholarship here at Tuckers Point to be a member. And then, of course, Chris supporting Daniel going to Rafa Nadal Academy, and then them coming up again and supporting him going to on this Caribbean tour, Kotak ITF Caribbean tour. So, you can't do to learn, and you need the people around you in order to and who see that you're serious. You know what I mean? And they see the seriousness of what we're doing, and they're throwing their weight behind us solidly. So we really appreciate Paul and Chris and Kareem, who's not here. We really, and Rosewood Tuckers Point, we really appreciate the support that we get from you.
I've known Sam Mabry, who's been Bermuda's premier tennis coach for many decades, for a long while. In fact, we've played tennis as the Mabry brothers and had a lot of fun for a long while. And when Sam mentioned to me that he had someone really special on his hands who was coaching, well, I sat up and listened. I mean, he's taught all of the Bermudian greats like Gavin Manders and everyone you care to name. And he said this young kid had prodigious talent, as he's gone on and proved, through the Rafa Nadal Academy, which is perhaps the hardest tennis school in the world, and winning through the Caribbean. And so therefore I felt it was our duty to give a young Bermudian the chance to be a sports star, an international sports star, because this young man can be the best tennis player that Bermuda's ever seen. So I felt it was incumbent upon me, and indeed Karim Alabai of Gencom felt the same thing, that we support this young man. And frankly, we see it as a good investment because he has done nothing but produce the most fantastic results in the most sportsmanlike way. So I think he's a credit to Bermuda, and he's a credit to tennis, and he's a credit to Sam.
And I'd just like to add, I think that Daniel is an inspiration to us all. And obviously we're very appreciative of everything that Chris has done, Karim Alabai has done for Daniel, and also Sam, his coach. I think it's incredible that these folks have invested and put so much time and energy and money towards Daniel's development. And I think all of Bermuda really needs to get behind that. So I would encourage everybody to consider contributing to Daniel's efforts. You can do that by emailing Sam at rootstennis@gmail.com. That's ROOTZ tennis@gmail.com.